Is our video? I don't see it. It's like.
No. Yeah, just gotta turn it on.
Yeah, let's hold this off.
There you go.
Okay. Please take notice that the Wellfleet Conservation Commission, in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wellfleet Environmental Protection Bylaw, will hold a public hearing, in person in the basement of Town Hall and via Zoom on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. Public hearings begin at 4 p.m. and business meeting to follow. In attendance currently, we have Michael Fisher, Barbara Brennisell, Robert Stewart, and Leon Shreves, so we have a quorum. The first hearing tonight is Robert Johnson and Catherine Alford, 156 Pleasant Point Road, map 25, parcel 110, SE 077-1634. Request for an amended order of conditions to allow for the installation of a nitrogen reducing component in an existing septic system continued in November 5th, 2025. They request to withdraw without prejudice.
And that's the next one as well for us.
Okay, and then the next one is Robert Johnson and Catherine Alfred, 156 Pleasant Point Road, map 25, parcel 110, 077-1634. Change plans to add a force main to the existing septic and add sonotubes to the construction.
Hi.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Stephanie Sequin with Brown & Wilcox representing Robert Johnson and Catherine Alford. And there is, this is at 156 Pleasant Point Road. There's current order of conditions that was issued to allow alterations and expansion to the existing building, to the existing dwelling. There's an addition on the north side. They're renovating, expanding habitable space into an existing green porch. That project and the creation of the new habitable space several months ago triggered when they applied for the building permit for that. At the time, the Board of Health regulations required, as a result of that building permit application, the inclusion of IA treatment for the existing septic system. So that's what we had submitted a plan showing the replacement of the existing septic tank with a new septic tank and additional IA component to comply with the requirements at the time. The Board of Health has since revised their regulations so that the this project no longer triggers the requirement to upgrade to an IA system. So we have submitted a revised plan eliminating the new IA components, but and therefore we are requesting the request for the amended order be withdrawn. But we are also adding the replacement of an existing force main, which is just like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inch flexible pipe that's below grade that currently runs from an existing pump chamber to the plumbing inside the building. That space is going to be finished, so we need to reroute the force main so that it goes out and around the proposed addition rather than going directly into the basement of the building. And so for that, we are requesting a plan amendment. I don't know.
Change of plan.
For that modification. I'm not familiar with the request for the I'm already forgetting what you said, plan change for the sonotubes. I don't know if there's someone from Cape Associates who's.
It doesn't look like it, but I can talk about it on behalf of Cape Associates. A structural engineer determined that the original design was lacking and needed 2 10-inch sonotubes in order to make the structure sound. I believe you did get the email.
Yeah.
You got the email from them, explaining that, so they need 2 additional sonotubes, everything was supposed to be on helical piers. But they do need something that's a little more structurally sound. So I did request that those are installed with a plastic sleeve or vapor barrier to prevent any leaching. They are very close to the wetland.
That would be leaching up the cement.
How far away they to the wetland,
They're within the 50-foot buffer.
and how much change are they doing to the house within the 50-foot buffer?
A good amount of changes here. Do you remember? That's what it's on to. They're on the seaward side of the home for sure.
You had something, Michael?
Yes, this is just a request for information. Was the IA system at all talked about as mitigation for the expansion of the house?
I don't believe so. It wasn't until the building permit came across the health.
You're right, that they didn't even know that they were gonna have to upgrade their septic until the health department saw it through the building permit application after they had already applied for us.
Okay.
So the EIA is brand new information.
Okay, that's just information.
I have one question. Is the current septic system, could that be retrofitted if the Board of Health changes once again and is gonna require everyone within 100 or 200 feet of the water to upgrade? Is that gonna be possible with the current system? Is there a potential for upgrading? Because
Well, so part of the discussion that we had with the Board of Health, because we actually did get as far as a hearing with the board because the upgrade required some variances from the Board of Health. And it was at the time where it was like 2 weeks before they were going to be voting on these revised changes. So we were talking about the options. And one thing is, they're now looking at the potential of sewering this neighborhood, which kind of factored into the decision to not go ahead and, because the homeowners were debating, wow, if we're gonna have to do this eventually, upgrade to IA, we're already a construction site. Do we do it now anyway, just so we don't have to, finish this house project, put everything back together, and then come back in 2 or 3 years and dig it up? But the fact that there could potentially be sewer here kind of sealed the decision to stick with the system as it is. If sewer doesn't come through here and they do have to upgrade to IA, we would just fall back on that plan that has already been designed.
All right, there's room for that then.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's what the plan
Right.
showed was it's very tight, but removal of the existing septic tank and replacement and sort of jockeying around 2 new tanks, and then connecting to the existing leaching.
All right, thank you, Stephanie.
Unfortunate that our Board of Health is vacillating so much on this. I can understand the reticence to put an expensive upgrade and then have it be sewered, so. Is there any other concerns or discussion?
Just one question. So this force main, that wasn't part of the original proposal?
No,
Oh,
Was that just a discovery problem or?
it was, yes. I was not aware that it could not just stay connected to the interior plumbing
Mhm.
in the basement. Because they're converting that basement space to finished habitable space. They can't have that. They need to run the fourth main around the outside.
So just so we make this easy, I just wanna say. Stephanie, if we agree to the plan changes, we should maybe make sure that we're okay with that. Because we don't wanna to approve the request to withdraw and then not approve the change of plan. Because then they'll have, do you know what I mean? So we wanna make sure that both of these requests are approvable. In my opinion, they are, but
Or should we do them separately or together?
you should do them separately.
Mhm.
But we just want to make sure, we just want to make sure that we're comfortable with the request to withdraw without prejudice. Because that's first, and comfortable with the change of plan. Again, I think they should both be approved, but before we approve the request to withdraw and then not approve the change of plan, it'll make it very difficult for Stephanie.
Why don't we do the change of plan first then?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion on number 2, the change of plan to add the force main to the existing septic system and sonotubes to the construction plan.
So moved, Michael.
Second,
Yes.
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 And yes, okay, great. So now let's vote on the.
Is there paperwork?
No, it's just a change of plans.
And as far as the request for the amended order of conditions to, for a request for withdrawal without prejudice of the IA system plan for the site.
So we're supposed to move to approve the withdrawal
Yeah.
Withdraw.
without prejudice. Okay, so moved, Michael.
I'll second as well.
Yes.
Regretfully, yes.
Yes.
But I think it,
Okay.
I don't have to explain.
Yes.
And yes.
Look at those plans, guys.
So do we need to take a vote on that?
No,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank
Success.
you all very much.
thanks, Stephanie.
An awkward situation. As you point out.
We may see more of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's stuff. Okay, the next hearing is Sean and Carrie Brown, 435 East Twin Circle, map 36, parcel 248, SC 077-1687, a notice of intent to create a view corridor and install mitigation plantings. Did the commission visit the site? I wasn't able to join, so I rely on the commissioners.
Hi, I'm Charles, with plans with on growth landscaping, what the buildings around. Like, yeah, that most of you went, but. And at the site, apart from the. Unfortunately, I couldn't make that, but. The idea is to remove 6 spokes. Let's see, they're 35 feet to 55 feet from the. Wetland, the general area. The laterally pruned 3 oak trees. And then mitigate with I think it's 17 plants, 17 shrubs and 2 trees. And those will go in the similar area as the work will be, where the trees are getting removed. Below the 50. That's just where the road is down there, so it's before the road. And I'll give them sort of a view corridor from the deck out to the marsh. It'll make it a little bit better. There's plenty of vegetation in the area, I think. And this will add some understory plants to the site. It's mostly a wooded area down in that along the road. And we'll plan to install a drip irrigation system for temporary irrigation. Do the pruning in the winter, this winter, 25 to 26. And expect amendments just after right away. We'll plant as soon as we can after the tree work is done. Any thoughts? questions?
I just want to know, I'm not familiar, I'm not a botanist. What kind of tree is the,
And like is a serviceberry?
oh, a service berry?
Serviceberry, yeah.
Does that
or
used to be
shad.
like tree size?
They don't
now?
get that. It's like they
So it's more,
Eventually, they'll get tree size, yeah.
they don't get huge like oaks, but it's on the side. It's over there on the bottom, so it shouldn't. be
yeah,
back
I
there.
know it's here, but,
It's a native.
yeah, I know what it is now that you gave me the common name. I'm just wondering if you
Serviceberry.
put like a big tree, a bigger tree to compensate for the oaks that are coming down.
You're thinking bigger,
Yeah, I,
like a nice sabbatical, let's see. That'd be Tupelo tree,
yeah,
I think
something.
that would be, okay, we could do that, yeah.
Because you're taking down some
Yeah.
oaks, they're not giant trees,
Yeah.
but just, we like trees for trees,
Yeah.
whenever we can get that.
I mean, the Anglicus can get 20 feet or so pretty easily, but yeah, we can do the Tupelo.
I support Barbara in that too. My concern is.
It's a good wetland plan. So
Otherwise, I think it's a pretty modest proposal and, good mitigation plan and irrigation should help survive, so, I would move to.
So the ACEC is not on a map.
that's elevation 13. So it'd be it's funny, I was thinking that on the way
The
over.
ACEC in that area is
Maybe it's
is 100 feet from elevation 13, right?
I'm not sure.
But it's well,
You know better than me, so.
I think so. That's what this. Who knows really? Sometimes the state maps are all wrong up by like where the Herring River is doing their projects up there.
Mhm.
But I'm comfortable with just adding the ACEC as 100 feet from the top of the coastal bank because that's approximately its location. I don't mind hand writing that in.
Okay.
If you're
so that
comfortable
would
with
go.
Yeah.
It's 100, okay.
Instead of a new plan.
Instead of a new plan. Okay. It might be a little
Oh.
off, but I think it'll be.
Okay. Then you do just,
You don't need,
Okay.
I can mark it up myself if you're
Yep.
comfortable with that, and the
That's
commission
great.
is comfortable with me marking it up.
Mhm.
And I can also make the change for you, I can just write it in that
Mhm.
you're gonna be putting 2 Tupelo there.
mhm.
Alright, okay.
I second.
Oh, we didn't know when we did.
No,
I was going to, but then Michael,
If I move.
That we accept this?
I'll second that.
Yes.
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 I just have one more discussion point.
Oh, then we should.
After Alicia marks up their copy with the boundary,
Mhm.
you should come in with your copy. Mark it up.
Till you get the copy that we're gonna do already.
Okay, this one's.
Yeah.
It's fine. How do you go?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's why we do that.
I have a couple more, I'll just give you.
Let me get the,
Oh, the next one's keep that, next one's each one.
we need the
Thank you very much.
sign.
Yeah, have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, Jess.
Okay.
Safe job. Jeff Sanders this one.
Oh, we didn't bring the flag. I remember.
And it was a little bit in the water, my daughter.
She
Okay. No, she doesn't. You have to tell us going away.
No.
It's only.
Okay.
Right.
Our next hearing is Town of Wellfleet and Cape Cod National Seashore Herring River Restoration, SE 077-1602. Partial certificate of compliance for Mill Creek Restoration.
And I have to recuse.
Right, but we visited that. It was a very interesting visit. Are there any discussion points or questions we need to bring up?
It does look like Jeff is here from the park, so if we have any questions.
Yep, just let me know.
Okay, good.
I think we covered most of this when we were there.
Yeah, we did. We had a very
So,
extensive.
And you're.
partial stuff. Can you explain the the
Oh.
partial certificate of compliance versus a full certificate of compliance?
It's just the partial for the.
Would you, I'm happy to explain it unless Alicia, you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's because they can't get this part of the project is done, and I'm sure the contractors want out.
So
So
the partial is for just this part of it.
just Mill
Oh.
Creek,
Got it.
it will not.
To all the rest of it.
And then when they come back, it'll make it easier for us too. When they come back for the full certificate of completion, we won't have to worry about looking at this project that was done 2 or 3 years ago that, you know,
Right.
we can't.
That's all.
Okay.
Good.
So I move that we approve the partial certificate of compliance for Mill Creek.
Certain.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and yes.
Before you go, Jeff, we have
Sure.
an amended order of conditions for the Herring River project that needs to get to you. We were gonna hand deliver it, but you guys, the federal government was shut
Yeah.
down. So we'll just bring that over with this one. You folks are in the office now. Somebody stops by.
Yeah.
Somebody will be
Would
able
it
to just
be-
grab it.
Would it be easier if someone swung by town hall and picked them up?
We're at the Gestalt Center, which is right down the road from you now, so we'll
okay.
get off. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're there. You just have to, the front door's locked. You just got to ring the bell, but someone will let you in and be able to receive that.
If you'd prefer to pick them up at our office, just email them. Okay, we'll drop them
It's
off.
really up to you guys, whatever's easiest for you.
We'll drop it off. Don't worry about
Okay.
it.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thank you all.
Appreciate it. Next one is Jane P. Prager, trustee 376, trustee
Yeah.
376 and 400 King Philip Road, map 35, parcels 184 and 185, SE 077-1599, emergency certificate for coral replacement. I take it
So no.
storms or something. What happened here?
Well, that was, we were on site there today to look, and that was the living shoreline that was put in the high velocity zone where living shorelines typically work out well. So they're in the midst of coming up with a new plan.
No.
In the meantime, the vegetation on the bank is doing really well and it's working really well to stabilize. And they're worried about the winter storms coming and not having protection out. The corals are degraded. So after meeting on site with two of the contractors, we determined to allow an emergency certificate to go through to allow temporary installation on top of the current array until they can, and one of the conditions is for them to come back with their full scope of work through an NOI by July 1st. So I would expect to see a much larger application in the spring.
The only issue I have is I would like to limit the number of these because I could see them like climbing up the bank and becoming some kind of a coastal.
Yeah, so they're not allowed to expand from their current footprint or from their current permit. So all they're doing is putting 2 to 3 in those and not even the full length, just 2 to 3 in those areas where you saw they were totally degraded into the bank itself, and they're dropping into the sand. So they are not allowed to do any work that is larger than the original permit.
Okay.
Does that?
I feel that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Any other concerns or questions? I would entertain.
I'm happy to have more discussion, yeah.
Yeah, my concern is the emergency certificate. I'm not saying we shouldn't do this, but usually when they talk about emergencies for this, there's some sort of public hazard or something. Is this
It could-
qualify as an emergency?
Times coastal engineered structures that are degrading are considered a public hazard because of what they can leave behind when a big storm comes. So a lot of coastal engineered structures get temporary emergency certificates to protect them until they can get the full permitting through.
Okay.
So it's definitely a gray area.
So
but
normally
it's
something like this
common
would be
practice.
considered an NOI if they were going to be doing a new.
Well, they
and
are
then-
gonna come back for.
Right, so
amended-
this is an interim
Mhm.
solution, just to
Yeah.
hold the stasis of what they've
Yeah.
got.
And you already issued, sorry,
What's their plan for the winter?
To put, this is it, to replace those, just that small area of core rolls to stabilize, because,
They don't want the plantings to be undercut.
and then they'll come back with a whole new plan. Like I said, we don't know what that whole plan is. They likely are gonna be removing almost everything there and replacing it.
And you've already issued this, so we are endorsing your issuing of the,
How do we word that?
Just, yeah,
so I move that we endorse the issuing by the agent of an emergency certificate for the coil roll replacement.
Right, I'll second that.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
And yes, I wish them luck. I'm glad to hear that the plantings are, I'm glad to hear the plantings are doing so well.
Yeah,
That's a good start.
really good.
So the living barrier just didn't work out.
The winter's just begun, Leon.
Yeah.
Winter's.
well, in general, living shorelines and high velocity zones, they're not a good fit in general, like, it's not. There's, like, if you look at, when they teach about living shorelines, there's like this graph of velocity and public use and all these things, and anytime you're in a high velocity zone, the living shorelines almost never work. So it was probably their only option,
Improved it.
but yeah, they'll be coming back.
These poor people are going to spend a lot of money trying to save the house. Okay, the last one is N. M. Spencer, 125 Baker Road, map 29, parcel 38, SE 077-1667. After the fact, notice of intent to remove an unpermitted dug-in staircase from coastal bank and associated mitigation. Change of plan. Now, so we've already heard.
Yes,
About
this
them?
was that one where they dug in a staircase into the bank. Yeah, kind of like meandered, and
Yeah,
the stringers were way deeper than they were expecting. And I went on site and looked, Blue Flags contacted me right away and was like, this is not what we were expecting to see.
so the stringers are the posts on the side?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so like, if this is a staircase, these are the treads, and the
Mhm.
stringers go this way laterally.
Oh,
They're on the outside, like these, if it was a,
I can't see because your hands.
oh yeah,
Oh, okay, these are the stringers,
yeah, this is the stringer on the outside.
and
then
that's
the
going
treads
farther
where you
into the
step
ground
on.
than they thought?
They go very deep,
Wow.
very deep. And so we were concerned about how removing those and having to remove more root structure would further degrade the integrity of the coastal bank. So we decided to remove as much as we can and make sure that there was no evidence of a staircase left, and allow those really deep set ones to be left in place.
So they're gonna use a sawzall or cut.
They're gonna be cutting.
So they'll
stalls
cut off as much as they can,
Yeah,
and then it's gonna be covered with oil.
yeah. Mhm.
What kind of wood? was
Yeah,
it?
that's what
It's
my
pressure
question.
treated, yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So it is not, I'm gonna agree with you that it is not an ideal scenario. But I do think there'll
But
be
then-
far more erosion there if they have to cut away that much.
It's kind of at least.
These are 4-inch square. But I don't understand the 4 foot by 4 foot.
Oh, probably 4-inch, they're 4x4s. So how it's constructed is they stacked all these 4x4s on top of each other and then staggered them up.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so that's how the stringers are created, just these 4x4s, and they thought that they were maybe like 2 or 3 of them stacked up on each other, and some of them are 6
Wow,
of them on each.
I think the problem is you have 4 feet by.
Oh, yeah, it's 4x, yeah, it's just the 4x4 wooden posts, yeah,
4 by 4 inches.
yeah,
so this is a choice between two.
2 evils for sure,
Yeah, two less than perfect solutions.
yeah.
But it sounds like digging all that out would really disrupt that, because that's a pretty sensitive, steep, as I recall, it's a fairly steep. But
Yeah, it's already, and a part of the issue too, and this is a lesson for the commission and me, is that we really should have had this restoration be done as soon as possible. And we should have made that a condition to restore sooner than they did, because this was permitted, these stairs have been there for over a year now. And the erosion that has occurred because of the disturbance there makes this more complicated. We should have said you have to remove these stairs within 30 days of the issuance of this order of conditions. So
Lessons learned.
lessons learned
And
for
we
sure.
had, there's a mitigation plan to plant there.
Yeah,
Okay.
with
so
like stabilization,
And that's
max
basically
temporary.
changed, is that?
That's unchanged.
Nothing there is changing.
All right, well, let's hope that that helps the situation, and it's unfortunate, but lessons learned.
So I move to approve the after the fact notice of intent for Spencer 125 Baker Road.
Second,
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, now that's our final thing, so I move that we adjourn the public hearing.
Second, I vote yes.
And no,
Yes.
no paperwork.
No paperwork on that. Change the order. If I don't have to write new orders of conditions, then there's no paperwork.
Okay, so let's now conduct our business meeting. In attendance, we have Michael Fisher, Bobby Radisell, Don Cumberland, Robert Stewart, and Leon Tree. So we have a quorum. Do we have any jurisdictional opinions to discuss?
I didn't put it in here, but I would like to discuss one if everybody's comfortable with that. Fox Island Road needs to do some maintenance, general maintenance. And on that maintenance, they need to remove one tree. So that is their request. The road maintenance, it's exempt from activity, from permitting, but the one tree is placed in a way that it requires everybody to go around closer to the wetland, and so they want to take that down and reestablish the road straight.
Mitigation for that tree.
No mitigation for the one tree.
And what kind of tree is it?
I'm sure that they would do it, but they wouldn't be able to do it in that location.
The other question is what kind of road maintenance, because someone from that road came here and wanted to fill the potholes with gravel. So what kind of, and we said no.
What road is
They
it?
shouldn't be filling it with gravel. It is a dirt road and they're regrading it. But they did not mention to me that they would be filling it with gravel. They are gonna be putting that new like dirt road material that is a little gravelly to grade it, because they can't grade it because it's been too degraded. So they do need to add some material for road maintenance, but not piles of rock.
Who's doing this maintenance? Is it the town?
No,
No, it's a private road.
So where is it exactly?
Fox Island, it's right before King Philip. It's the road right before King Philip. And
Okay,
it goes to
the left.
Lawn.
okay.
yeah, and they're doing it, and when you first pull in, it's that front area. Is that who talked to you before? Or was it farther down?
Further down.
Yeah, someone was concerned about the big potholes that are always filled with water.
I think they even talked about asbestos at one point.
They were talking about filling it and we said, we can't fill. And then he never came back with anything. So I know that
We need to
some of
keep an eye.
some of the people that do road maintenance,
Do you remember the address or the name?
it was the person who bought Olga Khan's house. I don't remember his name.
Was it like one of the first ones on the right when you pull into Fox Island Road?
No, it was further
Okay.
down.
It's a little.
I can
further.
look it up.
Because
I can't
this
hear.
is not gonna be all of Fox Island Road. It would go like if you pull in, like right before King Philip, they only wanna go to about 2 houses in.
Right, I just wanna know what. Because when you allow these companies to do maintenance, you don't know what they're doing sometimes, and I've seen them dump gravel, I've seen them in grading, I've seen them take stuff from one area and put it someplace else, so I just don't wanna give them, carte blanche for this when it's right by the marsh. I
So
wanna
we-
know what they're doing.
We can add conditions about exactly what they wanna do, or I cannot approve it until we get a construction, some kind of narrative.
Actually,
And I just think we need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because for two reasons,
They
this
can do
is,
that, yeah.
it's exempt activity, so if we ask for too much. they might just do it anyway.
But this is a private road,
Yeah,
But
and private roads are also exempt,
maintenance of roadways is exempt activity.
even if it's private.
Yeah, it's a public safety issue.
Can we, and we can't ask for mitigation for the tree they're
We
cutting?
can ask for mitigation for the trees, yeah.
I mean, if they're cutting a tree down because you're driving too close to the,
Well, the tree's gotten too big since the road has been established, yeah.
so can we
I
have
don't,
them move the tree to the other
the
side?
person requested, there's no room on the other side to add a tree, but I'm sure the property owner would add it on his I mean, if you drive down that road, there's just like a thick wall of vegetation. It's like it's the wetland, a thick wall of vegetation, the road, and then the houses, and the tree is getting cut down on the house side,
Okay,
not on the wetland side. And so what happens is when you drive, the tree is here and everyone cuts into the wetland to avoid hitting the tree.
Well, I could see approving the tree removal with the stipulation that they provide a work plan that can be checked.
Well, I think maybe Barbara wants to read the plan before we approve it.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
Okay.
And tell them I'm sorry, Barbara.
no, and also time of year restriction, because that's a terrapin habitat all along that road, so you don't want this work being done in the winter.
yeah, and that's a condition that we can put on it. Again, I do think that's exact activity for NHESP, which is a bummer, but I'm happy to add that condition.
So this whole road is within our 100 foot.
It's almost it would be wetland if it wasn't a road.
Can we say when they give us the narrative that we want a detailed description of exactly what materials will be?
Yeah, I'll talk to him. The property owner is very responsive and happy to provide more information, and
We have the name of the property owner, is that?
Gary Gagne.
Okay, no, that's not the person who wanted to fill the.
I think he's 40 Fox Island Road. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a plan to go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them doing it, I just want to know what they.
No, it's valid. I'll get more information.
Yeah, and your concern is well placed.
Yeah.
For private companies working.
And
on
I'll find out,
projects.
I'll look in the notes and find out in the minutes and find out who the other person was.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Any other jurisdictional opinions?
No, there'll be some next time.
Okay, promises. I look forward to it. Mail or discussions?
The one thing
We did get mail.
was the one thing that the open meeting law violation that we got, that was, the judgment came through that there was no open meeting law violation.
Okay.
The person who brought that was the person that we know.
Yes.
So do we have to do anything about it except to say we received it?
You don't even have to do anything about it.
Okay, nothing.
I did the duty on that one, so that's good.
One other item of discussion, if I may.
You may.
Our agent gave a stellar presentation to the Shellfish Advisory Board last week
Great.
about peat tree nourishment.
Mhm.
Very good, and I think it was well timed,
Yeah,
now that all this is going on in the winter, just so they understand.
how was it
Mhm.
received?
Pretty well, actually. I mean, they seem to understand or have a better understanding of why it's required and when it's required and how it's regulated, and what Leash is doing to try to figure out what the conditions are for all these properties that, we don't know what's happening. So it was very good.
Right.
I think it helped. I don't think they understood how the orders of conditions work and how those aren't things that I can just ask somebody to change, because I was getting a lot of phone calls saying this person nourish and I want you to make them stop nourishing, and that I can't do that. No, there's no legal mechanism for that to happen. So I think that helped too, that, when I say there's nothing I can do, it's not because I don't want to, it's because I really can't do anything.
So what will happen if we come up with a master plan that will alter all that? I mean, theoretically.
Yeah,
that could happen, right?
I mean, we need to get the data first. We need to figure out how much we should be nourishing, where we should be nourishing, and
When?
how much we should be nourishing, where we should be nourishing, and then currently, how much are we nourishing?
Yeah.
And try to figure out all those differences. So until we get that data, Center for Coastal Studies is willing to do all that work and also create, alternatives for us to beach nourishment. Give us some alternative ways to manage it, but we need the funding, so.
Yeah, it's an incredible.
So where are we looking to get the funding? Or should we like,
Is this something
town's
CBC
not
can
gonna
do?
come up with it?
No, I have been working to get the funding. It is gonna be very difficult because a lot of the state funding wants the projects that you work on for other towns to be able to replicate. And we're kind of the only one that has this issue, even the way the beach nourishment is, it's like, it's just very complicated here. So it doesn't qualify for a whole lot, and I've been talking to a few state agencies, municipal vulnerability preparedness grant and the coastal zone management grants. And the idea is to marry it with a larger project in the future. So we would be able to tie this research in to a larger coastal resiliency project.
Such as,
I don't know those specifics yet,
Something in the future.
but hopefully within the next grant round in the spring.
so the project would be in the Wellfleet area.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Probably, one of the low-lying roads that needs to be addressed. We might be able to, just tack this on to something like that, and then it would be easier to get approved.
And just to give you a heads up, I'm nominating you to give a talk at next year's State of the Harbor Conference on this, because Brian McCormick gave a talk this year about coastal processes, and I think this
Right.
dovetails really nicely
Right.
with that talk,
I'll do whatever you want.
so.
That's great, and thank you for doing that. It's-
I'm not scared of public speaking.
No,
so.
I'm sure you.
No, she did a great job with difficult.
It's a-
I'm just saying that this is the group that it affects a lot,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of contention about it.
yeah.
And Alicia did a really great job of explaining why it happens and when it happens and what her
right, what our-
ability to stop. Yeah, it was great. Anyway.
Excellent, thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other discussions?
Don't we have any
All right, let's look at the minutes. Does everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
I actually read every word and I changed something, but then I changed it back. So I move that we approve the minutes as.
It's a minute,
Second, Michael?
all right,
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
and yes. Okay. So our next meeting will be December 3rd, 2025. And I move that we adjourn business now.
Second, Michael? Yes.
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 And yes.
Yeah.
So now
Yes,
everyone-
please.
All